World Service. Here's Richard Sharp to tell you about the next World Peace Club.
Hands-on there, drawing his own experiences of detention and violence at the hands of the Turkish security forces to write his award-winning novel, Istanbul, Istanbul. Held in a tiny windowless cell, four political prisoners pass the time between violent interrogations by telling each other stories about their beloved city.
World Peace Club on the 6th of November. Power the Evidence with Claudia Hammond. This information, it said, travels further, faster and deeper than the truth. And in our highly connected world, it does so at speed. I'll be looking at how in a pandemic involving a deadly virus, misinformation and its sinister cousin disinformation can kill. This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station. From the BBC World Service. Prince Charles tells world leaders of the G20 they must turn their full attention to the battle against global warming.
It is also impossible not to hear the despairing voices of young people who see you as the stewards of the planet holding the viability of their future in your hands.
That's the focus in Glasgow too, as the UN Climate Conference COP26, billed as a moment of truth for the world, is officially opened. We'll hear about the Taliban's supreme leader, said to have appeared in public for the first time since they took power in Afghanistan in August. Also, the young conscientious objectors in Israel facing jail because they refused to do military service. I decided to refuse to join the army because I'm not willing to take part in the oppression of millions of people who live in the West Bank and Gaza. Those stories here on the newsroom from the BBC in London. We'll begin the programme with a bulletin.
Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. A crucial UN climate summit, COP26, is officially underway in Scotland, with world leaders facing a clamour for action to avert catastrophic global warming. The summit president, Alok Sharma, acknowledged it would be really tough to strike a deal to limit rises in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees by the end of the century. He warned of devastating heat waves and entire countries underwater if the plan failed. Before final talks at the G20 summit in Rome, Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi said world leaders must act now or pay a much higher cost later. The British heir to the throne, Prince Charles, described it as last chance saloon.
We must now translate fine words into still finer actions. The enormity of the climate challenge dominates people's conversations, from newsrooms to living rooms. But as the future of humanity and nature herself are at stake, it is surely time to set aside our differences and grasp this unique opportunity to launch a substantial green recovery by putting the global economy on a confident, sustainable trajectory and thus save our planet.
China and the United States are struggling to meet targets for cutting carbon dioxide emissions, as our environment analyst in Glasgow, Roger Housing, explains.
Both programs have suffered several setbacks. China, the world's biggest current polluter, says it can't cut emissions any faster because it's suffering from power shortages. In the United States, historically the biggest polluter, President Biden's struggling to get climate policies through Congress. But scientists say it's still worth fighting to keep emissions down as much as possible. And delegates here are pressing politicians, businesses and financiers to do more. Initiatives are expected on protecting forests, pooling long-term clean technologies, and redirecting trillions of dollars into enterprises that help to move to a low-carbon economy. But expectations of a major breakthrough are not high.
New Zealand has promised to reduce its greenhouse gases by 50% by 2030, strengthening the target already in place. Previously, it had said it would cut emissions by 30% of their 2005 level by the end of the decade. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has told his Chinese counterpart that Washington is concerned about China's actions towards Taiwan. He made the comments at a meeting with the Prime Minister Wang Yi in Rome, their first face-to-face since a fiery summit between the two sides in Alaska in March. Mr. Blinken told Mr. Wang that the U.S. opposed any move by China to change Taiwan's status. It's currently a self-governing island that China considers its own territory. It's not yet clear how Mr. Wang responded. Between Beijing and Washington are strained. World news from the BBC. The Taliban's reclusive leader, Hebatullah Akhundzada, is said to have made a rare public appearance in the southern city of Kandahar. He hadn't been seen in public since becoming the Taliban's supreme authority 5 years ago. Electra Smith reports.
This was an extremely rare public appearance from the Taliban's top man. No photographs or videos have emerged, but a minute audio recording has been shared on Taliban social media accounts. In it, the speaker gives a religious message, praise the Taliban fighters. Hebatullah Akhundzada became the Taliban's MP leader 5 years ago. His predecessor was killed in a US bomb strike. He's the ultimate authority over the group's political, religious and military affairs. He's long kept a low public profile, feeding speculation about his role in the new Taliban government in Afghanistan and even rumors of his death.
Voting has cascaded in Japan's parliamentary election, which has been an early test for the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Exit polls suggest the governing Liberal Democratic Party, which has been in power since 2012, will retain its overall majority but will lose seats. Mr. Kishida took over only months ago following the resignation of Yoshihide Suga, who had been in office little more than a year. A senior Iranian official has blamed Israel and the United States for a cyber attack last week that paralyzed petrol stations across the country. An investigation is still going on, but the civil defense chief, Ghulam Reza Jalali, says he believes American